and welcome back. This is Jenny from Polly's Paper Studio. Today I'm creating a Valentine flip book using the February pages of the calendar collection from Authentique paper. I'm basically obsessed with this collection because it has such great paper patterns and gorgeous vintage images, and it changes every season, so there's always something new to work with. So stick with me and we'll make this together. Here's this calendar collection. Now I don't have any of the February pages left to share because I've used them all for a post you'll be seeing coming up in February for Authentique paper, but I can show you the same basic layout they have for every month. So here is March, and all they've done is use the same plan but swap out the seasonal images, and then the color patterns are going to match and the sentiments will go along with the holiday that is in the month that you are working in. So this one has the larger images on one side and some additional pattern paper on the back. So I used much of the pattern paper side for the flip book that I made today because that was giving me a lot of extra choices for pattern paper. So I just picked the images that I wanted and then used the back side mostly to fill in the book. Now they're going to have a plaid, which is gorgeous, and then on the back side there is a companion for whatever season. So the February one has hearts, of course, and then they also have the cut apart, so you'll have some sentiments here, tickets, additional smaller images, and then the calendar portion if you're using this for a planner. And then the back side again has some additional pattern paper images, so you'll have a lot to choose from even with just 4 sheets. So it does also come with a solid, which is just 2 tones, 2 shades of the same tone for the season. So obviously mine was pinks and red, but you'll just get whatever is right for the season. Here's my book base. Now I created the first one, and I thought that I would use a 1/4 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other. And then when I started cutting paper, I realized that I did need to allow more room inside the book to accommodate the bulk of all the paper layers. So what I've got here is 110-pound cardstock, and you could use whatever color works for your project. I just usually keep a lot of white on hand because I think it goes with pretty much everything as a base. There are 2 pieces here. It's cut at 6 inches tall, and that will be the height of the book. Then it will be 4 inches wide. For this book I want to leave 1/2 inch on one side and 3/4 on the other. So I'll come in here with my scoreboard and mark that at 4 inches, and you really need to dig in there to get a good crease because this is very, very, very thick paper, and it won't bend as crisply, so you really want to give that a good score, and then come in and fold that on the score lines. You definitely want to reinforce those folds with the side of your bone folder. That will help to reduce some bulk and help it to keep a good crisp edge. So once you've got both of these scored, the first one I scored 1/2 inch. This one I'm going to come in at 4, again like the first page. And then the second score is going to be at 3/4 because I want that to have enough room for all the paper layering. So just like I did on the first one, I'm coming in and creasing that. Now you'll want to either use double-sided adhesive or some good strong wet adhesive, and I just don't have that kind of patience, so I'm gonna use my double-sided adhesive tape, and what I'll do is I will attach that tape to this side of the booklet and then add it directly onto this page. So what will happen is now we're going to have this to fold open and then this to fold open as well. So it'll be 3 parts in the middle. Here's my tape. I'm just going to add it right as close to the edge And then I'm gonna use my acrylic block to tear it. That way I don't have any of the adhesive going out over the edge. It'll give me a nice crisp line of adhesive. And now peel that off. You definitely don't want to skip out on the 110 pound paper for this, because it will be very nice and sturdy and hold up to all of the paper layers. So just line that up there and press that in place. So now what you've got is your base, and you can really adjust this to any size that you like. If you like it to be taller, that is great. If you want it to be wider, you're going to have to switch to some 12 by 12 papers to get it, you know, the width that you need. But I used the 8.5 by 11, and this works perfectly with just 2 sheets of that 110 pound paper. Inside the book, I'm going to have 4 pages and then a front and back cover. I decided to make 2 sets of 2 pages that are similar, because I think it looks just nice to have a consistency as you work through, and it also helps to cut down on the time it takes to design each page and take down measurements and do all the cutting. So for this side, I have a pink background. This is the Tickled Pink Spectrum cardstock, and that is also from Authentique paper. It coordinates so perfectly, and I'm just going to top that with a layer of the plaid. I've got an inset section, and that is going to be the opposite side of the plaid. It's got those sweet little hearts, and I'm giving it the same border treatment with the Tickled Pink cardstock, and then this will be attached right in the center. This is a directional pattern, so keep an eye on which way your hearts are going. These pages are going to have a tip in, and I've got more of that Tickled Pink cardstock, and I'm going to line the back with the B side of the images from the vintage image sheet. Remember I said that had lots of extra patterned papers to work with, so this will be what will show when it flips up, and it works out pretty well. That has lines if you want to add some journaling. And then here's one of the journal cards. I loved that heart frame on there, and I think it's got a very lovely sentiment. So I'm just adding that. Now, sometimes I would put white cardstock and mat each of these layers, but honestly, I am worried at some point if I put too many layers of paper on that it's just not going to close. So I'm going to put that here. I put adhesive tape on the back already, so I can just lay that into place. And then a second row on the back of the tip-in edition so that it would have a nice contact all the way around. So here is my book. This is going to be the left-hand page. So I'm going to add that here. And I think it's easier to get it lined up if you come at it from the edge here so that you can space it correctly. So when you open that book, you're going to have this pattern and then a tip in so that you can add the pictures and journaling. Okay, let's make this page. I've brought my scoreboard back in because this page is going to have a pocket, and I like to add the pattern paper to the cardstock and then wrap it around the page so that the pocket has enough room to slide the tags in and out without them getting caught on the edge. So the plan for this is to do as little math as possible. I'm just going to line up my pattern paper that will be the front of the pocket, and I've got my border side here, and then I'm going to use this piece of scrap cardstock and line that up, see, with one of the indentations on the scoreboard, and then just go ahead and score that. That way I don't have to worry about measuring or things not fitting in correctly. And I'll line that side up as well. Once more on the bottom, then go ahead and bend the scored lines and cut them at an angle so that you can remove some of the bulk from the back of that pocket. Now I'm going to add my adhesive to the edges. And then I'll add my pattern paper. So this is a backside again of the vintage images, and I'm just going to lay that into that portion where it is scored and folded. Now come in here and pull up the tape, and now you've got a pocket with plenty of room to add your tags and your other flat keepsakes or mementos. Take the rest of the tape off here. You'll have to add some additional tape to the back side of where you added the pocket. Then add it to the cardstock again as the border layer, and then add it to the book. So this will be the next page that you see. To embellish this pocket, I picked a couple of the smaller cut aparts from the page that had the sentiments, and also a tag with the heart border. I'm just going to secure this tag about right here. I'm going to bring in another layer of that tape, but I'll be careful not to overlap that edge because I don't want to accidentally stick the pocket together. And then stick that in the center of the pocket. And how cute is that? Here is a small heart that was part of the month sentiment on the calendar portion. And I just clipped out that heart like a fussy cut around the edge so that it would have a nice dark border. Here's the pocket now, and I want to put a tag inside. Here is the stamps that come from the smaller cut apart page, and I have left them as a full image. So it is now cut out. It's 3 inches wide by 4. And then I'm going to use the back side again of that vintage image page. I wanted my tag to be 5 inches so that it would show over top of that pocket and fill in that space nicely. So I cut the excess off, and then I'm just bringing it back around. See, it was here, but now I'm going to bring it around here and stick it on so that the bottom of the tag will have that complementary pattern. And here is the image for the top. You could add some trims if you like, making sure that you account for those when you make the width of the spine. I'm just choosing to tuck those in today without any additional trimming, and I think it looks really cute. So here's the tag for the pocket, and that just tucks inside there and looks totally adorable. So like I said, I've got these 4 pages that are 2 and 2. So here's my other pocket, and I'm going to add that right in the center of the book. I just use the similar ticket image and created this pocket the same as the one on the other side. Here is the tag, and I'm using that calendar portion just because I think it makes a fun background for pictures. Also, it's light enough you can write on it, so you could do your journaling here. And then here's the back side of that. So I utilized every scrap that I could. Here's the 2x2 block, and I've just clipped that on because I don't know, you know, where the picture might go, where this could be incorporated better. And so I've got that on with a clip. You can also clip your picture on with that if you choose not to adhere it right to the pattern paper. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility when you go to fill this in. Also, the back side of this would be a great place to add some additional journaling. So that's just one way to get a little bit of extra square footage out of this mini album. Here's my second tip-in page, same as the first. you see I just used the sentiments as a full block and then added the Cupid as the 2x2 block, and then the second piece of that polka dot paper going on the back of Tippin'. And this will go here. Here are all the inside pages. I've also finished the back with the plaid and the heart pattern, just a small layering on the back so that I could take advantage of the companion paper. So this is just gonna go right in the back. You want it to look nice and finished all the way around. So now you can see that will look nice on the back. On the 1/2-inch spine, I didn't add any paper, but I will come in with a strip of that cardstock for the larger side, just because I think it looks nicer with not that large white portion showing. And I cut it to go all the way to the edge, just to get it, you know, lined up nice and straight. That also helps to add a little bit of sturdiness to this side of the spine. Okay, I normally do not go for the biggest image for the front of my projects because I do like to layer, but I could not cut into these cute kids. I really wanted to get the full effect of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my cardstock and then add my embellishments right on top of the image instead of layering additional elements in. So here is that border. You could also use the bubblegum pink. I think with this February set, they both work really nicely. I've pulled some ribbon trim that I want to use, and this is the best time to add it now so that you can secure the trim and sandwich it between those layers. This is a generous length so that you can tie a nice loopy bow. I've got it right positioned where I want it to wrap around, and temporarily I can secure that with a small strip of this adhesive. Mostly it will be held down by the border of the outside cardstock, but this will just keep it nice and even while we add the top. I do plan to make one of these for every season. I think now that I have the layout figured out that I really like, and that will be easy because I'll have all my measurements and all my page designs done. And since every month in the collection is the same except for a different season, that will be very easy to recreate it, I think. So here is the image for the front. I'm going to just open that and press it into place so that I know it's secured well. I don't have a whole lot going on the rest of this as I usually do, but I picked some flowers here, partly Prima flowers. I just really like that shade of pink. Partly is some handmade by me. I wanted to bring in a little bit more pattern, so this has just a really small checkered pattern, and then some glitter hearts, also some twine bows and die cut foliage. And I made this originally because I thought a rosette would be really cute, but I'll be darned if I could not find a place for it to go. It never looked right wherever I put it, and so I think I'm just going to save that for another day and adhere these down where I originally wanted to. So I don't really mind that I cover up their feet too much. I do mind, though, that I keep all of these fragile bits inside the book cover so none of it hangs off. I don't want anything to become bent or damaged when the book is open. Here's a couple little hearts. I'm going to cover this heart because I just want to add some additional embellishments, and I'm going to add more glitter hearts, so I don't mind losing that. But I do want to measure out where all of these little pieces are going to go so that I get the right length for these charms. So I'll hold those in place, add that hot glue, and then cover that with the additional smaller flower arrangement. The same thing, but just with smaller flowers. And that will be all for the front cover. So you can see we've got lots of room for pictures and journaling. There's fun tip-ins. There is tags to pull out and embellish. I think I want to add an additional clip here as well, just to make this even more functional and versatile. So that will be the first pocket, and then here's another tag for this pocket. The cute tickets, another tip-in, and the back is finished with that beautiful coordinating pattern. So that is all for our Valentine flip book, created with the February pages of the calendar collection from Authentique paper. I will drop a link in the description below so you can check out this series. They have one for every month, so definitely want to pick up all the different holidays. Check back on the Authentique blog on the 5th of February because I have a whole nother project share with this collection. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a like and give me a comment. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.